and welcome to ASL Basics with Miss Colleen. I recommend this program for children ages 6 and up. However, you're never too early or too late to start learning a new language. Now, today's topic might be a little bit abstract for some of our younger viewers, but I don't want that to discourage you from watching the video. You can still pick up some signs and you might understand more than you think. So, go ahead and stretch out your hands if they're feeling a bit stiff, and also warm them up, but we won't be doing a whole lot of signing today. So, today I'm going to talk to you about questions. Now, the sign for question is to just take your index finger and draw a question mark in the air. Question. The sign that you use for when you are asking something is to do ask. That's just an index finger and you just curl it. So I ask you, you ask me, they ask them, something like that. So ask, and you'll occasionally see it used as a question mark sometimes, but not very often. Now our question words that we have are why, who, what, when, where, which, and how. So the sign for why, there's two of them that I'm going to show you. The first is the more modern sign, is to just take your palm right near your head and wiggle your middle finger right by your temple. Why? Why? The older version is to take the letter Y, and I've seen some people shake it and some people make little circles right near their temple. It's an older version. You'll see some people who learned ASL much earlier in their lives might still use that one, but this is the much more modern sign that more of the deaf community is trying to move towards. Why? Who, you're going to take an L, you touch your thumb to your chin and then curl your index finger. Who, you do it twice. Who? Who? And you want to make sure that your mouth makes that little circle, just like if you had said the word. Who? What? You take two palms facing up and you're just going to shake them twice to the side. What? Sometimes you might shrug a little. What? What? When? You're going to touch your index fingers together, and then this one is going to make a small circle. Just like a clock. Like when we did time, our fingers acted as the hands of a clock. It's the same idea. When? Where? Just take your index finger and you're just going to shake it. Sometimes you might look around a bit, like if you lost something. You lost a toy, you lost your keys, lost your phone. Where is it? Where did I leave it? Where? Which? You're going to take two open A's and you're going to move them up and down opposite each other. Which? Think of you have two objects in both hands and you're saying, which one? Which one? How? We do the open bent B's, remember? Place them at the center of your chest and then bring them out. How? There's also a second one that is a little bit more urgent. So you take two open A's and you rotate one forward twice. How? How? So this is more of when you're asking someone how something happened or what happened. How? Like, how'd that happen? So it's a little bit more urgent. Now, there are a couple of things to keep in mind when you are asking a question. As I've said before in some of my other videos, the ASL grammar structure is very different from English, and one of the major differences is that the question words actually act as the question mark, so they go at the end of the question, not at the beginning. Now with some of the smaller sentences, smaller questions, it doesn't really matter what order they're in. Like, how are you? It doesn't matter if you point to the person first for you and then sign how, or if you sign how first and then point to the person for you. It's only 2 signs and they go by very quickly, so it's not as important. But as you start asking longer questions, it becomes more important. So, like if you're asking someone how to sign something, how do you sign this word? The first thing you do is you finger spell the word. And then you ask them, you sign it. How? You see how goes at the end, like a question mark. So that is one of the major differences, and it does take some getting used to. It's okay. Facial expressions are something that probably go unnoticed when you're talking. You probably don't pay a whole lot of attention to what your face is doing, but there are some natural facial expressions that we just try to emphasize when signing because they're deaf, so they can't hear the tone in your voice. So your face is very important because it becomes the tone. So yes and no questions. The main thing for this is to raise your eyebrows when you're asking a yes and no question. It shows that you are asking a question and not making a statement, because the way you sign a question, are you hungry, looks the same as if you are making the statement, you are hungry. So say your child is acting up, they're being very grumpy, you might tell them you're hungry, it's time for lunch. But maybe they're just playing, they're having fun, they just kind of forgot about lunch. You might poke your head and say, are you hungry? So very different contexts, right? But the sign for that is the same. It's just pointing you, and then the sign for the word hungry. You hungry. So if my face is flat, that's like if my voice is flat, making a statement. You hungry. If my eyebrows are raised, then that's like using the tone for a question. You hungry? You hungry? So the raised eyebrows is very important, especially with yes and no questions. Now for our question word questions, we do the opposite. We kind of scrunch down our eyebrows a little bit. Not too much because you don't want to look mad. You're not mad at asking a question. You're just curious. You're interested in what they're going to say. So you scrunch your eyebrows down just a little bit. So for example, that person I just asked, are you hungry? They said, yeah, I'm hungry, I could eat. You can ask them, all right, where? Where do you want to go to eat? Where? So you see how I scrunch my eyebrows down a little bit. So this is just some of the bare bone basics of asking questions in ASL. If you're interested in learning more about this topic or really any other topic in ASL, I strongly encourage you guys to check out the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center here in Corpus Christi. Normally, they schedule lots of social events for the deaf community, and they offer classes. Of course, everything is on pause right now, but once they get started up again, there really is no better learning experience than learning from someone who is actually deaf. But in the meantime, you can check out some of our library resources, some of our physical materials that we have at the Corpus Christi Public Libraries, and you can also see what we have on our digital platforms, Hoopla and Access 360. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook and YouTube for more updates, and go to cctexas.com/library to access our online catalog and see a full list of all of our virtual programs. And check out our online browsing options with the new book alerts, author check, and the book newsletter. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.